Stacey Brown Randall, and I am here to talk to you today about some straight talk on business growth. Now, I am a new broadcaster to the WYTV7 lineup, and I am very, very excited to be spending this season with you and sharing some of those hard lessons that I have learned when it comes to truly knowing what it looks like to grow my business. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my backstory. I'll dive into that mainly in our next episode because there's great lessons to be learned from business failure. That's right. I am a member of the Business Failure Club. We'll talk about that coming up in our next episode. But for this episode, since it's my first, I just wanted to introduce myself. I want to tell you a little bit about what you can expect from Straight Talk on business growth from this show and who at best it is for. Now, as you know, Straight Talk on Business Growth is going to be centered mostly on business growth, just by knowing from the name, but we will focus on other things that come in to impact our ability to run our businesses well and to run them well as Christians. So the mission of my show, Straight Talk on Business Growth, is for allowing me the opportunity to share some hard lessons learned with other business owners to help you press on, to find your success, and to always be a reminder to reflect Christ. So we're going to talk about what it looks like to grow our business and doing it in a way that helps us through the tough times, because nobody said running a business would be easy. And then, of course, while we're pressing on and having success and dealing with those challenges, that we're also reflecting Christ in our process. So the verse that is really going to sum up the whole idea behind Straight Talk on Business Growth is Philippians 3:14. And that verse reads, "I press on towards the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus." Let me just say that again. Philippians 3:14. I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. I love this verse. I think it speaks so well, and so as from a necessary perspective for business owners to remember, there will be good days and there will be bad days when it comes to running our business. But the ultimate goal that we are after is not here, right? It's not here on this world, in this land, on earth, but it is heavenward to where we are headed. And that the things that God has gifted us with, the ability to run our businesses that God has given us as gifts, that even when it's good, it's easy to press on. But more importantly, when things get tough, things don't go according to plan, maybe we have a business fail, maybe we lose a major account, maybe we're struggling with some employee issues, or just kind of figuring out our way and changing and having to pivot the direction of our business, that we're there to press on because there is a greater goal and there is a greater prize for which we are after. And while we're here, using the talents and using the abilities that God has given us so that we can, of course, reflect Christ while we're here on earth. So I'm excited for this show. I'm very excited to have the opportunity to spend some time talking about business growth. I think it's one of those things we talk about, but we don't always know how to take action on. And so I'm excited to spend some time with you on that. So let me give you a little bit about my backstory, and then we'll kind of dive into what you can expect from this show in particular. Now, remember, there are a number of other fabulous broadcasters that are here on WYTV7, and you can watch us on YouTube, and of course, you can catch us on the podcast as well. So I hope that you're going to come back every week to check out my show on Tuesday evenings. But of course, I hope you'll be checking out the other broadcasters talking about other important topics like finances and marriage, testimony, on all sorts of great things. So I hope you will join the other broadcasters as well for their show. But let me tell you a little bit about what you can expect from this show, from Straight Talk on Business Growth. And of course, let me start with a little bit on my background. So as I mentioned, I'm Stacey Brown Randall. I am a 3-time entrepreneur. That does not necessarily mean I ran amazing companies and sold them. It actually means that I have got some tough lessons in my backstory and some roadblocks that I had to overcome with a business failure. But now I help and I teach small business owners and solopreneurs really and truly how to grow their business. I do it in a very specific, unique way that works for somebody who owns a small business, or it's just them, the solopreneur, the me, myself, and I. So that's who this show is for. We're going to talk about business growth strategies, and we're going to talk about one in particular through this season. We'll change it up when the spring season rolls around, but through the fall season, we're going to dig deep in one major topic. But I do want you to know this show is best for small business owners. or solopreneurs. So small business owners, maybe you have a team of 5, 10, or 20, or 25, or as a solopreneur, maybe you're a team of 1, uno. That's great too. And also this would be a great show for those of you who are in sales. So if you are a sales professional, this would also be a great show for you to be tuning into every single week. So I teach small business owners and solopreneurs how to grow their business. And I do it in a very unique way by teaching you how to create sticky client experiences and how to generate referrals without asking. That's right. I said it. You can generate referrals without asking. So I am the author of this book that came out just about a year ago, Generating Business Referrals Without Asking. I also am the host of a podcast called Roadmap to Grow Your Business. So this is a topic, this business growth topic is a topic I spend a lot of time on. Of course, I work with my clients and the students who are part of my Growth by Referrals program. It's an online program. We have students or clients in 7 different countries all around the world that are actually participating and learning how to grow their business and how to grow their business specifically through referrals that they don't have to ask for. Now, don't worry. That's the topic, referrals without asking, that we are going to dive in throughout this season. And I'm excited to teach you what it looks like to generate referrals without asking and what that means and defining a referral for you so you know what it is and what it isn't, and understanding the 3 different sales or the 3 different plans every sales strategy should have or needs to have. That's an important part of understanding how we get referrals to work. And then we'll dive into the 5 overall steps that it takes to start generating referrals without asking. I'm going to get into the human dynamic and psychology behind referrals and why asking for referrals actually shortchanges your ability to generate them and to receive them. So we've got a lot of great stuff coming up for you over the next 15 weeks, and I'm excited to spend this time with you. I think it's important that as business owners, we have resources and we have the opportunity to really spend time learning from others who have gone before. I always tell folks when they ask me, wow, you talk so openly about your business failure, and you're going to hear the whole story in the next episode. But they always say to me, Stacey, you talk so openly about your business failure. Isn't that embarrassing? And my response has always been the same. Of course it was embarrassing. And to talk about it early on, it was actually pretty painful because I had to admit that I wasn't good at something, or at least in that time, that's how I viewed it. What I know now, because, the ability to look back and ask God, why did something happen, right? Even though he's not a puppet master making things happen, I realized that with my business failure, he wasn't picking on me. He had handpicked me to learn some really hard lessons that I would then be in a position years later to teach other small business owners and other solopreneurs and other sales professionals how to avoid. He gave me a unique perspective that, to be honest, I really wouldn't wish on anybody because it can be a tough one to go through. But being on the other side now and so many years past my business failure, I look back on that time and I know that I was put in that position and I was able to get through it. He got me through it. We made it through that business failure, and I was able to start another business that has been successful now for over 6 years. And there's a reason for that. And one of the reasons why my business is successful today is because all those hard lessons that I learned with my business failure. And I want to share some of those hard lessons with you. Now, I'll get into the details of what those 3 main lessons were with the next episode, giving you a little backstory on why my business failed and the big lessons that I learned there. And then we're going to take one of those lessons, the business growth lessons that I learned in a very particular and specific way, and we're going to dig into that business growth lesson over the next episodes that kind of carry us throughout this fall season with Straight Talk on business growth. But I do want you to know that everything that I went through, right, I didn't just come up with the idea. I was trained, I guess, so to speak, and thinking of a different way to say it, that I went through trials and tribulations and hard times and good times, but hard times, and learned some very specific lessons. And that I really believe now, obviously, when you're able to look back in retrospect, it's easier to kind of understand, but that I was really being brought through something, that the Lord was really bringing me through those tough times so that I could share what I learned with others so that they don't have to learn those hard lessons that I learned. And so that's why the mission of Straight Talk on Business Growth is to share the hard lessons learned with other business owners to help them press on, right? Because if I had given up and I hadn't pressed on and tried again to start another business after my first business failed, I wouldn't be here today having this conversation with you. I wouldn't have discovered my referrals without asking process. I certainly wouldn't have written a book, which is super special to me on a number of levels. And one, because my father is an author and he has published 20-something books, and I had to get just one out. And I'm thankful that I was able to get this book out last year before he unfortunately passed away unexpectedly. And so there is a lot of things that I learned through my journey, and I learned by pressing on the things that God wanted for me and the things that he's now allowing me to share with other business owners. So the mission is for me to share what I've learned specific to business growth, because that is my area of expertise, to share what I've learned with with other business owners about pressing on, right? About making it through the hard times, and also about enjoying our successes. I really do believe that when we learn the lessons we're supposed to learn and we put into practice what we're supposed to do and we do the work, right, that it is amazing things when we are rewarded. And that is a part that we should definitely celebrate. And through it all, though, we need to be reflecting Christ. And so that's where this mission comes from. That's where Philippians 3:14 as the verse for this show is, our guiding light in terms of what this show is about, is learning through the lessons that I had and showing you how to press on. So let me talk about what you can expect coming up on the episodes for this season, the fall season, for Straight Talk on Business Growth. So next episode 2, we will talk about, and which will be a lot of fun because I'm going to reveal the things most people will be like, you shouldn't be talking about that. Isn't that embarrassing? But I'm going to be talking about my business failure. I'm going to be talking about those 3 lessons learned and what it is really all about that we need to understand, and what I learned and how I was able to put things into practice. Also, we will then talk about the sales strategies that I learned that no one's talking about that we need to have in our business. We all know we need to have a sales strategy. And my guess is, as a business owner or as a sales professional, you have 2 distinct parts or 2 distinct plans within your sales strategy, but you're missing a super important 3rd plan, right? You need those first 2 plans. We need a 3rd plan. So what is that 3rd plan? And what are those first 2 plans I'm talking about? Well, we're going to dive into that as well in episode 3. Then we're going to spend some time talking about how we fill our prospect funnel and what that looks like. Now, depending on the type of business you are you a professional services firm, right? Are you an online business? Are you a retail business? Are you medical? All those things look different in terms of how we fill our funnel. Now, my area of expertise is with those that are in what I like to call relationship-based sales, which means your business, how you deliver the work for your clients, you're building relationships with your clients through the process. All right. So it's that idea that what you do isn't highly transactional, but you are building relationships with your clients. And through that process, you have a unique and very distinct and a big advantage to how you're able to then go about getting more clients, which of course, in my line of work is referrals. But we will talk about how we fill that prospect funnel, that pipeline of people who come in to the funnel of knowing about our business, going through the buyer's journey, and then hopefully coming out as a closed paying client. So we'll talk about how you fill that. And there are different sources, referrals just being one of them. So we'll talk about all those sources as well. And then as we move through the next series of episodes, which are starting around episode 5, and moving forward for a number of the episodes, we're going to dig into referrals. We're going to talk about what is a referral and what it is not. We're going to define referrals. We're going to talk about the cast of characters within the referral process. And we'll talk about the 4 different types of referral sources. Now, we'll also dig into, okay, great, now we know the backstory. Now let's learn the 5 steps to how we generate referrals without asking. And we'll spend the balance of the episodes focused on, okay, what does this look like to generate referrals without asking? Now, what's different learn about my show maybe from some of the other shows that you may catch on WYTV7, the Christians Broadcasters Network. What makes mine maybe a little bit different is that if you want, you can get a copy of my book, which is called Generating Business Referrals Without Asking. And of course, the subtitle is A Simple 5-Step Plan to a Referral Explosion. We're actually going to be going through the book, and the lessons that I teach in this book is what I'm actually going to be talking to you about on a weekly basis as this episode airs. But I'm going to be talking about stuff that isn't exactly in the book, and I'm not going to go exactly in order, but I'll let you know every week where in the book we're going to be spending some time, and I'm going to give you more than you could typically just find by reading the book, because I have the ability to sit here and have a conversation and have a dialogue and give you more insight, give you more tactics, give you more ideas, some things that are immediately able to be applied in your business. We're going to talk about those. So we're going to go through the book, not exactly chapter by chapter, but pretty close. We're going to go through the book and we're going to talk about what you need to know and what you need to understand when we're trying to grow our business, and then grow our business specifically by referrals that we never, ever have to ask for. So as we're going through this, I want to encourage you, you can grab a copy wherever books are sold, or I would love for you to join me every week watching, obviously on the YouTube channel, coming in and watching the YouTube channel, or joining me on the podcast as well, wherever you're going to listen to this episode, to all the episodes, whether it's through YouTube with the video or on the podcast. I would love for you to actually leave a comment. That's right. On YouTube, you can leave comments as well. I would love for you to leave a comment just saying that you're watching, giving me a shout out, knowing that you're there. And every week I'm going to pick a new person to win a copy of the book. So I would love if you want to go purchase the book. It's retail at $16.95, and you can buy it wherever books are sold. Just look for Generating Business Referrals Without Asking. And of course, it is sold all around the world. So you can find it wherever books are sold, whether in your local bookstore or, of course, online. And what I would encourage you to do if you want to get the book is that you can follow along. But if you would like to win a free copy, I would love for you to spend a little bit of time talking about what you're learning and leaving comments on the show. So hop into YouTube and leave a comment, right? You can send me an email and leave a comment. That would be great as well. I'll share how you can contact me at the end of today's episode. But I would love for you to engage with me through this process. I want you to ask your questions. If I talk about something in an episode and you're like, wait, I have some questions of exactly what that looks like and how that applies to my business, I want you to ask that question. The easiest way to submit questions, of course, is when the comment feature within the YouTube. So you can go to the YouTube channel and you can check this out. And then, of course, there you can leave your comments, and then I can respond back to them in an upcoming episode, and you'll be entered to win a free copy of the book. So every single week for 15 weeks, I'm going to be giving away a free copy. So for the first person who's going to actually leave a comment on this episode, the pilot first episode of Straight Talk on Business Growth on WYTV7, I am going to actually pick one person and send them a copy of the book. Now, don't leave your mailing address within your comment. Just leave your comment, ask a question, give a shout out, say, hey, I was listening. I want to read a free book. I want to win, a free book, right? Leave a comment. And then I or someone on my team will reach out to you to get your mailing address. But please don't leave your mailing address on social media where anybody can find it. So definitely, once you leave your comment, we will reach out to you and make sure we'll either message you or send you an email and reach out to you and ask you to send us your email address. But we will reach out to you to get your mailing address with private. We definitely don't want your mailing address out there publicly for the world to see. That would be something you can send to us privately. But every week we're going to be giving away a free copy of this book, and we're going to be using this book as an outline for what I'm going to be teaching you throughout this fall season about how are we going to grow our business, specifically growing our business with referrals that we never have to ask for. And I think once you learn this process, you're going to be like, hallelujah, there's a way to do this without having to ask for referrals, without having to pay for referrals, or without the dreaded being overly promotional or overly gimmicky, trying to receive those referrals. Because as a business owner, one of the best ways to grow your business is to have clients effectively drop into your lap. Right? 9 times out of 10, they drop into your inbox when somebody is actually making a referral to you. But that referrals are the most amazing way to grow our business, because somebody shows up and they already trust us and they've never actually met us. And that is powerful. They trust us because somebody else said you should trust them. And that is critical, and that is key for referral working. And they actually know they have a problem or a need. That's why they were willing to be referred to you. So referred prospects, right? They're easier to close. They're quicker to close. They're less price sensitive because they already have assigned value to you before even meeting you, because somebody else that they know has assigned value to you. And that, putting your reputation on the line, is key when someone's making a decision to who to choose to be my business coach. Who do I choose to be my financial advisor? Who do I choose to be my realtor? Who do I choose to be my CPA or attorney or interior designer or home builder? And who am I going to choose to help me with as a marketing consultant? Who am I going to choose, right? All those questions we ask when as business owners or as just consumers of who am I going to hire to help me with this problem or to help me solve this need or to help me, right, with whatever issue I'm dealing with. We all know that we would rather have someone tell us, here's the best person for you to work with, because that makes us know that we probably won't make a mistake and we won't waste our money. And we like getting recommendations. 86% of people tell Nielsen research every year that numbers almost never change. It fluctuates, it goes up a little bit, goes down a little bit by a percentage point or two. But 86% of people say that they would rather make a purchasing decision based on a recommendation or a referral from someone they know and trust. What we need is to make sure the right people know and trust you and that they come across your ideal client so they can start sending clients to you. I truly believe that there were a number of opportunities within my first business that failed, and I'm going to dig into this with our next episode, but I truly believe there were a number of opportunities in my first business where I had some lessons to be learned, and that even though I would prefer not to have gone through them, the time that I was going through them, as I reflect back on them now, had I known what I know now, my business wouldn't have failed. I don't believe my business would have failed. Now, I fell out of love with my first business, and I'll talk about that too next episode as well, and what that means and what we need to be paying attention to as business owners in that regard. But I truly believe if I knew what I knew now, my first business wouldn't have failed. But remember, that wasn't my path. That wasn't the plan that God had picked for me. He had picked a different path and a different plan for me. And it did include a failed business and then having to go get a job, and where I was able to come up with some of these lessons learned and reflecting back and trying to understand what my background was meaning for my future and how I was going to use that moving forward. So I'm excited to spend the next 15 weeks with you all and helping you learn how to grow your business. And remember, right, it's to share hard lessons learned that I learned that you don't have to learn on your own. I don't want you to repeat any of my mistakes. So I can help business owners. I can help you press on when things are not so great or even hard, and remind you to celebrate your success. That is one of the best ways that we honor God, is when we celebrate the successes that He has provided to us. Let's just make sure we're giving the right credit for who those successes actually belong to. And through all that we do, good times and bad times, business failures and massive business success, that we are reflecting Christ. So I can't wait for you to join me for our upcoming episodes. I can't wait to dig in on my business failure story, understanding the 3 plans you need to make up your overall sales strategy, and then, of course, digging into what does it look like for you to generate more referrals in your business and spending time with you doing that. So if you're a business owner, if you're a solopreneur, business owner, small business owner, even if you're a big business owner, right, or if you're a sales professional, or you know people who are business owners, this is one show I don't want them to miss. So I would love for you always, every week, leave a comment. We'll be picking winners to win the copy of the book. And of course, you could always find us WYTV7, not just me, but all the other broadcasters who are sharing their skills, their talents, their time, and their treasure with you. So I hope you will tune in, not just to this show, Straight Talk on Business Growth, but to all the other broadcasters as well. And if you believe in the mission of what we're doing, if you believe in the mission of WYTV7, the Christians Broadcasters Network, if you believe in what we're doing, we'd also love it if you would consider making a donation. So to make a donation, you just need to go to WYTV7.org. So not .com, but .org, and leave a donation. No donation is ever too small, but it allows the network to exist. It allows the broadcasters to be here to sharing our thoughts with you, and it allows you to support messages and missions to be shared with others who need those messages and who need to hear these missions and who need this information and this advice. So We're excited to be here. I'm excited to join this lineup with all the other wonderful broadcasters. And of course, we'd love for you to make a donation to support not only this show, but all of the shows. Just go to wytv7.org to make a donation now. Okay, that's all we have for you today. I look forward to seeing you next week on Tuesday when we will have our next episode. Bye for now.